Welcome to another class recording follow up from where we stopped last time, right? So, based on where we stopped last time, I just want to do a quick round of review. I'm going to run the program again. And we basically understood how to insert Boolean states, right? So, Boolean states between true or false when the user is on a page as opposed to when the user leaves the page and goes somewhere else. So right now, what we're going to be working on, obviously, and I'm just going to zoom this in a little bit more, is we're going to be working on. So just a reminder, if we click About Us, it says you'll be redirected to the About Us page. Okay. And when we try to click it again, nothing happens. And that's because now we're no longer in this page. So nothing is happening. So you were asked to do the same thing for the other page, other options, and make sure you're doing that. So that's why I put an if statement because you need to get the coordinates, and I explained how to do that and how to change the states because they will all be the same, right? I'm going to show it one more time. I'm going to copy this block, okay? And this is inside the screen clicks, and I'm going to paste it right here. What did I do right now? I just copied this and pasted it in here. I'm gonna put a comment. So when you comment something, it means it's not gonna run in the code. I'm gonna comment this out because I wanna get the coordinates for this option, natural resources. We've done About Us, but what about natural resources? So I'll click the top edges and then I'll click the bottom edges and go over to console and I get my last four coordinates. That's what you should focus on. So look at the coordinates on the left side, pick the smallest and the largest. So the smallest is 458, the largest is 621. Go back and adjust that. So this is the easiest way you can do it. 458, make sure you're getting that right here. And then the largest is 621. So 458, and then of course change this to 621. Okay. Once you've done that, you come over and you look at the ones on the right side, and the smallest from here is 189, sorry. And the largest is 299. So you go back and you change that 189 and 299. And of course, make sure you still keep this and is on sign up page because they're currently on the sign up page, right? So we keep that going. Now, once you're done, you can take out the comments because that means you're now ready to test. And of course, this means that you have to go and create a new Boolean because you're no longer on the sign up, which should be there, but you're also going to another page, not an About Us, right? You're going to the natural resources page. So you got to go make that change and do is on natural resources. So you're going to come here, okay? And then you're going to say static Boolean is on natural resources. Really, the way you want to write it, you can do it this way, and that's equal to false. Okay, so here you come and make this true because they have clicked on it, so now it's going to be equal to true. So is on natural resources, and that's going to be equal to true. And of course, change the message because now it's not going to be you will be redirected to the About Us page, but you'll be redirected to the natural resources page. Now, something I have observed for especially those who are in the Green SIP Tech Talk group, I have stressed many times in the comments that you need to make sure that your business idea is connected to your app. You can't sell something or create something for selling if people don't see you have actually tried your own solution. So I'm going to show how that works. When I say connected, I mean a section here, once the user signs up successfully, logs in successfully, when the page is open, you will see something like view our business, right? Once they click on that, they will see information about what are our products, right? Our products, and then something of business plan, our current business or our business trail, basically explaining what your current, how did you start the business and go up until the part of launching it. And this should be real evidence of you, your group, your business group, your partner, your collaborating group members who are going to be your business partners. Obviously, in this, it should show the stage of actually doing the product, making it with your hand, starting from home, It's a small scale that is projected to grow to a large scale. All that process of pictures and video clips needs to be shown here. So I'm going to do my best to show you how that works once we get to that stage, but I've stressed that many a times in comments to group members and to just everybody who's involved in the Code Hills. Your app is the foundational pillar to showcase you actually using a business plan that this app's generated. Okay, because what you have as your current business plan is what this app is going to generate, because you're going to be refining and modeling it. You're going to use AI, but you're going to refine and model it to be a bespoke one, to have a human touch, the Rwandan touch. Okay, because you're the one that's there, so you can refine it, add the local people to contact, the places that just a prototype can be made, not necessarily a company in the beginning. You need a prototype to showcase people what you are creating. All that needs to be in here in this app. So we stressed it out, and it seems that we're at a point where not so many people in the group understand what's going on. So in the whole class itself, I hope once I show an example and we elaborate that more, you understand. So for now, anyways, we have put in this part. So this is really how you have to do the remaining ones, similar to what I just did here. And then once you've done that, of course, you can now, I'm going to stop it just one more time so we can rerun it to test it again. Make sure you stop and rerun. Go to your workflows, run the program one more time, go to your VNC, wait for it to run, of course. And then once it does, then you can now click on the natural resources and see what happens. So when I click on natural resources, it says you will be redirected to natural resources page. Okay. When I click on it again, nothing happens because we're no longer in this page. We've actually moved on. So it means it works. When you click on about us, it's also not, clickable because we are no longer on this page. We've moved on. And that's just because we have this is on sign up false, is on sign up false. So this here is the sign up page. Now, moving on to today, we're going to do a couple of things. I'm hoping that we do complete the sign up where we generate the Imigongo, which is our main objective. And also to make sure that we're also going to save this in the database. So this is where you're actually going to be learning how to save things in a back-end database, right? That is going to be available for viewing by the administrator of this app, which is you. You can view who have signed up, who have used whatever natural resources they have selected. So now let's go back and start working on that. We need to create another method. So I prefer to start doing it from here at the top, right on top of this screen clicks method. This one would be to check if the passwords are duplicate, right? Because we need to know if the passwords are duplicated. That means if someone is trying to sign up with a password that already exists, the person shouldn't be led to sign up because that's what our primary key is going to be. It's our password. So that's the first thing. So we'll start off by doing that. We'll say public static. This is going to be a Boolean method that means it has a Boolean, just like true or false. So Boolean, and then the Boolean method is password duplicated, right? Duplicate. Then of course we're going to be taking the variable that we have. What is the variable for the password? We stored it. It's called the encrypted password, right? That's what we're taking. And so that's what we're going to be putting in here. So the encrypted password is our password. So what you can do is obviously just write string. I'm guessing we can just go about doing the whole, password, just create a variable. Or we can just do the encrypted one, and I think that's going to work as well. So we can go about doing, but we have to create it the thing is we have to create it as a, I'm going to call it password one. We have to create it as a variable. Okay. So open curly brace, hit enter. And also we can actually, yeah, never mind. Let me just look through some of the things that we did. Give me one moment because I want to verify something in terms of our passwording. So we've got our password, which we've called the encrypted password. Okay. Right. So that's going to be the one we have here. Give you a moment, guys. I'm just trying to look at something real quick. Okay. So this would be our password, as I mentioned. And now we're going to go and say string password, and we're going to connect this to our database. Okay. So this means we're going to go for string. And then, of course, at the end, let me just quickly check something real quick as well. Right. So at the end, we're going to do string URL. We're going to create a URL right here. That means we want to connect it to our database using our JDBC database driver, which is important to connect to our database. So it's going to be JDBC, okay? It's going to be colon SQL, SQLite, and then colon again, and then just make sure you're not spelling, and give your database a name, whatever name you want to call this. So I'm going to call this one codehills.db. Okay, DB meaning database. Now, once that's done, put a semicolon, hit enter to the next line. So if you get an error here, so just make sure you did it right. JDBC, SQLite, codehills.db. And if you get an error, it says that you're missing a return statement. That makes a lot of sense because you can just put a return at the end and just say return for now. I'm guessing, well, we have to return a couple of things. So um, let's say we return, I'm trying to just guess what we can return right here. Let's return just, nothing for now. Let's just return empty quotations. Yeah, or in this case, we need to return true or false. Sorry, it's a Boolean method. So let's return false, but we're going to change it because this is Boolean. We have to return something that's either true or false. If this was a string, then we return empty quotation. If this was an integer, that means we return whole numbers. So for now, let's just say that we return that, right? So just for now, but we're going to change it. So you go to the next line. And of course, the next line is now we need to try our database connection. Oops, we have a try catch block. Remember, we talked about that. And we're going to write down connection. So this is how we connect to the database because we have to check if this password is actually duplicated. And then we use a driver manager and we connect and open again another curly brace. Now in here, we're going to get our password, okay? So remember that this password that we're gonna be getting is actually the password that is being hashed, right? And so let me make you understand this. When someone enters their password, if you remember, we're using that SHA-256 cybersecurity algorithm to hash the password, right? So the hashed password is the one that we're checking to see if it exists in the database or not. That's what we're doing. So we're checking to see if it exists in a database. And the way we're doing that is we basically are taking whatever password they've entered. And of course, we're hashing the password and we're comparing with the hashed passwords that is in the database to see if there's a match. And that's how we know if it exists. If it exists as a sign up, that's not a good thing. If it exists as a login, that's a good thing because you're logging in. So that means you are a user. But if you're signing up as a new user, you can't use a password that already exists. Now, if you're getting a red line on Driver Manager, that's because we have to, first of all, import it. And I think we haven't imported it. We did import like the SQL connection, but we haven't imported Driver Manager. Let's keep going, then we can fix that a little bit later on. So now we want to create a statement so that we can command the the database to make the search for us. And remember, I told you with ever try, there should be a catch exception. Catching means catching any errors. And of course, open curly brace, and then it should print whatever the error is. In this case, we're just going to return false again. Okay, so we're returning false here. So this is actually where we wanted to do the return type thing. Now, going after this, the next thing we want to do is we want to be able to now put in the code in the try block that will actually search for the password. So we're going to create something called a statement before we do a query. This is called structured query language. We're creating a statement. We can call the statement whatever. I don't know, let's call it STMT. This is a good one. You can call it anything you want. And then here we're going to say con.create statement. And so this statement, and again, if you go over here, it's going to say cannot find symbol class statement. Let me just have a look real quick of this just to see if we're missing anything. Oh, right. We are supposed to close a couple of things in here. Let me have a quick look. There it is. Oh, wait, but if we close it, give me a moment. So here, we're not going to close it. I wanted to close a curly brace because we are having some issues, but I will fix it. I thought it was a curly brace error, but we're going to fix that because we need to import that so it actually knows where we're getting it from. And this keyword as well, it does not find statement. Class statement cannot be found. So we're going to fix that, of course. And if you go to the top of your program at the very beginning, we will fix that by importing these important things. So we're going to import, let's just fix that real quick. We're always going to be getting the driver manager from the SQL package. So you're going to say SQL.driver manager. Let's start with that one first. Okay, and then you put a semicolon. That should fix the driver manager issue which we were having. And then we'll import. You can also make this easy and just import everything at the same time, really. And that really just makes everything easier. When you do that, everything is fixed at the same time. Because when you say asterisk, it means you're importing all the things that you need that may belong to an SQL instead of having to importing one by one. Asterisk means import all. So this, what it's doing right here is importing all the SQL libraries so we can achieve database connectivity, connecting to the database. I also mentioned to you, and I just want to say this because I almost forgot it. I said that I was going to show you just before we continue this method that we're doing for password duplicate. I mentioned that I was going to show you how you can also add more methods to the click function, right? Where's the click function that we had? Screen clicks. There it is. I said that it's not only clicks that you can return, you can also return other kinds of methods, and there are other type of methods. You can add more methods, right? More mouse events, and then some of them would obviously be the ones that we're going to be looking at. So public. I think I'll add those a little bit later. Let's finish what we're doing right now. And I'll add the more mouse events. Just give me a moment. Let me set that to reminder so I can do that as well. Give me a moment. So we're going to be adding more mouse listeners, mouse events to the mouse. Okay. Adapter. Okay. All right, so I'm just saving that up so we can do that, and I don't forget to do that because that's what we'll do. We'll do the mouse entered. There are a couple of them that we need to sort of do. There's the mouse pressed, and it really depends on where you want to apply that, and what screen you want to apply that. So that's like yeah, that's pretty much what we'll work on. So I just want to show you it's going to be the mouse entered, then there's going to be the mouse pressed. So just to put them here, it will be public void mouse pressed, guys, and then really depends what you want to do here. And then there's the one that's going to be public voice mouse released, like when you hold your mouse and you release it. So that's another one that you can do as well. And again, if you want to know where you apply them, it really is when you use them in a particular place. And then there's the mouse entered, and then there's the mouse. So there's about four of them, and then there's I think the last one is the mouse exited. Yes, and that's it. So these are the methods I promised in the class that I would show them. And if you want to know when you use them, it's really like, for example, if you are like here, you say if is on sign up, right? For example, and then you want to use this mouse entered for whatever reason. Then when you enter a mouse, for example, let's say we do a J option pane. Welcome to the sign up page, for example, right? This is a pop up message. And then when you take your mouse out of the page, like completely move out, then you can do again if is on sign up. Basically, you're saying if you're on this, if means if you're on the sign up page, then you're gonna print something there. So it really depends how you want to be smart in the way you're gonna put functionalities on your page. And so this one is, it will be like you've exited the, like maybe when you're going out of the page, you're going on, oh, maybe let's say you're going to the is on about us page, right? And that's the about us that we, for example, when you click on it and then you are going out, you're out of the sign up and you're now in the about us page, something like that. Where you will use it is basically when you take your mouse out, or maybe when you are not on the sign up page, or maybe when you're not in that range, like the click range, you're out of the range. If not this, for example, if else, you could do an if else, for example, if you're not here within the range, then when you're outside, you said you've not clicked on, I don't know how to explain that, but I think I can show you that. Um, I can show you that because here's if you clicked on it, but if you are not on clicking on this, you've come out of it, then you know you're exiting the sign up. So I guess what we can do is when you click on it, we said, I just want to explain to you again. When you click on the About Us page, right? It clicks and says that you are now being redirected to the About Us page, right? Well, what you can do is you can also say, um, create something like, let's say, static boolean clicked on about us, right? Something like that. I want to see and just show you here. And so you're like false, but then when you come here, it's becoming true. And when it is false, it will be like you're still on, is clicked on about us equals to false, right? So if it's equal to false, then it's going to tell you that, well, you are still on the sign up page, for example, right? You are still on the sign up page. And then once you take your mouse over it and is on sign up page, let's go back to this one where it's on sign up, like, but you're on the sign up page, but you've taken your mouse out, then you're on the exit side. So I don't know if that made sense, but let's try it out and see because I kind of want to explain something. We do have to pay attention to what's going on the console area. So let's go back to VNC again, and then I'll explain to you what I'm trying to say. So right now, let's go to the console. Oh, sorry about that. You have exited the sign up page. You see that? Look, you see that as I came out, my mouse came out, I've exited the sign up page. Okay, now let's say I'm here. Um, you have okay, so let's say I clicked on this, you'll be redirected to the About Us page. Okay, so what happened right now, we actually have to modify. This isn't working the way I expected it to work on. So instead of doing it this way, while they're still on the About Us, like on the sign up page, let's take it back to what it was. The mouse exit is working, right? And then the mouse entered, let's say is, if let's take it back to what it was, is on, just make it easier. And then I'll go delete that part we don't need. Actually, it wouldn't work because it's going by clicks. Okay, because I said if you clicked on, then it will go to true. But other than that is false. And if it's false and you're entered like in the page, then it's supposed to display the message. But I think this is the easiest way we can do this, is just make it this way such that when they're on the sign up page, it's going to tell them you're still on the sign up page, like anytime they enter on the sign up page. And once they exit, which we've already tried and it works and you've seen it, it's going to say you've exited the sign up page, right? Because their mouse is coming out. That's really what happens with these ones. I'm focusing on this one. Your mouse is entered means going in on something, and exited coming out on something. So let's try it now and let's stop and run everything again. So before, if you notice, we didn't really have anything on it. So let's run it and see. You see, you're still on the sign up page. So whenever you've exited the sign up page, right? Okay. you're still on the sign up page. You've exited the sign up page. Whenever I go, I'm still here, but when I go like out, you see I exit, but when I'm here, I'm still here. And then it just like keeps, you see, you've exited the sign up page. So to avoid like the error, you just have to know, like you need to know when you're on the sign up page. Like, for example, if you made, let's come back here. I want to try one more thing just to show you. Let's say you are like in this area, this is the part, we can't have two of the mouse events there. So what I'm trying to say is you can't have two of your mouse events there. So what you can do, for example, if you copy this, and I want to show you something. By the way, if you're getting an error for this stuff, you got to go make this. It's because you have to make this stuff not only here, but like available to all the methods, the int x and y. Okay. So I mean like this. Okay. And and the thing is, if you do it that way, also you get an error. So what you can do is you can either make them, what do you call it? You make them static so that you can get them, or you can create the int e equals like what you just did there. So pretty much just copy these ones because you're getting an error here because it's not recognizing where you're getting that error from. And now when you do this, it actually resolves the problem. See what I mean? So you just copy those get X and get Y, and then you get your coordinates. So I'm trying to show you something. And I'm going to put a comment for this one that we're on the natural resources page. Okay. So just follow me on what I'm doing. I'm putting a comment here. You can pause this video and go back, of course, and just pause it slowly to understand. But I'm commenting out the code block where we have for the natural resources page. And what I'm trying to show you for the mouse entered, how you can use it, is you can still use the coordinates and say that if the person is going within that coordinate range, wait, did I comment the wrong one or the right one? I know I just commented the right one. It's just the message is wrong. So I'm going to copy this message that says you're on the natural resources page and just put it in here. I just want to show you that how you can use these other mouse listener methods. And there's the one that's mouse pressed, means when they press the mouse for long, that's going to be the one that's going to be happening. And then when they release the mouse, this is what will happen. So I probably will show you that too. Okay, so this one, what I'm saying is when they put their mouse in this area of the natural resources, once it's in the coordinate area, it's going to say that you'll be redirected to the natural resources page. And then once they come out of that area, they're no longer there. So that means they're somewhere else, right? That means they're not in this area, they're outside, anywhere outside. It's going to say that you have exited the sign up page, like once they come out of that, right? So how do we make it work? And also, if you want to say once they exited, or maybe if you want to say once they're outside, like outside of the sign up page, they're not in that range, is not greater than this or not equal to that, you can also do it like once they come out of the whole area. So you can just do it with coordinates. You can specify where the exiting would happen. Where would they go? And it would say that they've exited the sign up page. That's what I'm trying to say. What boundaries are you looking at? So basically now what I'm trying to say is, if let's run it and see if they come into this area, then where the natural resources coordinates are, it will tell them you're going to be redirected. So we're not using the click, but we're using now the mouse entered if they take their cursor on that natural resources section. So let's stop it, and then you see how it works. So I'll run it again. Okay. And I'll go back here, and now look, I'm going to go on the natural resources. It says you've exited the sign up page just because I went out. See, whenever you go out. Okay. Now look at this part. Now, if you're on this area, um, and it's supposed to detect, okay, so it didn't work to detect the section